Mike and you. And this is Dr. Michael Uchovas, specialist obstetrician gynecologist and self-delivery campaigner under the auspices of Self-Delivery Grace Means International, even the Self-Delivery Network. We have been handling the issues of preparing for safe delivery. And today we are talking about preparing for safe delivery part 8. Last week we talked about preparing for safe delivery for women that have fibroids who are also pregnant. But today we are going to talk about something totally different. We're going to talk about preparing for safe delivery part 8, avoiding the unsafe delivery. One of the best ways to prepare for safe delivery is to avoid the unsafe delivery. Avoiding the unsafe childbirth attendant, avoiding the unsafe hospital or clinic or maternity. So we need to know who are unsafe and who are safe, so we can avoid the unsafe childbirth attendant, the unsafe delivery, the unsafe childbirth place. It's not every place that they say the deliver woman that is safe for every woman. Women that have no challenges in pregnancy or delivery, women that just come and deliver on their own without medical or surgical challenges, such women, well, can deliver even at home without stress, without problem. But the challenge is that it's not written on anybody's face who will have challenges. And we have always said in Self-Mother, with Self-Delivery Grace Ministry International, Self-Delivery Network, that pregnancy is risky. There is no risk-free pregnancy. Because there is no risk-free pregnancy, it means that all pregnant women must find themselves in a center where, even if complications arise, somebody can do something about the complications and save lives. That means, and some people are low risk now and later become high risk pregnancy, just like some people can register for natal care, maybe at gestational age of 12 weeks or 13 weeks of pregnancy, and around 28 weeks or 30 weeks of pregnancy, they develop high blood pressure. That means they didn't have any high blood pressure booking, that just in their late second or third trimester, they develop high blood pressure. That means they were low risk at the beginning of pregnancy and now became high risk later. So there is nobody that will say, okay, this one has a risk-free pregnancy that can go to anywhere and deliver. That means every woman that must deliver must go to a place with comprehensive emergency obstetric care facilities and personnel. That is the place to deliver. A place where they have all it takes to take care of pregnancy, especially the complication that may arise during childbirth. So what are those places that we women can deliver? Where the place that is safe, so that anything short of what I'm going to say today means that somebody is delivering on a unsafe place and in unsafe hands and may end up with either morbidity or mortality. Like I was saying, some people can start pregnancy without challenge at all in the middle of it or towards the end of it. Some people never bled throughout the first trimester, second trimester, but suddenly at the last trimester, they start bleeding, what we call antepartum hemorrhage. Some people did not bleed before labor, then suddenly start bleeding during labor. Some people did not bleed during labor or before labor, but they suddenly start bleeding after delivery and can even die if nothing is done for them. That means every woman that desires safe delivery must find herself in a comprehensive emergency obstetric care facility with the requisite personnel that can take care of you. And I also add that that comprehensive emergency obstetric care facility must also have compassionate skilled healthcare professionals, compassionate, those who are not doing the work for money, but they are doing to save life, even though money is required to do the work. That means they are depending on God to help them in the work they are doing. So the following must be present in a skilled care center, what we call the signal of medical functions, the skilled bed attendants, and the enabling environment. So what is the signal or medical function that must be present in a place that is deemed safe for pregnant women to have antenatal care and to deliver? That place must have the requisite emergency obstetric medications, instruments, equipment, and appropriate functional activities. This includes intravenous antihypertensives such as hydralazine. Now, those that develop high blood pressure, some of them the pressure is so high that you must need an antihypertensive to bring down the blood pressure, such as hydralazine. Such antihypertensive must be available, otherwise the woman can suddenly start fitting by having eclampsia and can die from aspiration of vomitus, aspiration of blood from biting her tongue and so on. So to avoid that, every woman, and some women have no challenge at all during pregnancy, during labor, they suddenly start having high blood pressure after delivery. So at every point in time, hydralazine must be available. Also must have intravenous antibiotics, triazole, metronidazole, gentamicin must be available at all times, because some people come in labor already, they have drained lipo for 2 or 3 days, they have contracted infection, and they come in labor. So you must treat infection, even if they have to go through cesarean section. Infection treatment will avoid septicemia, avoid wound breakdowns, avoid burst abdomen, avoid the challenges of infecting the surgical wound. So parenteral antibiotics must be available. As I mentioned, in this place that is safe, you must have intravenous oxytocin, oxytocin and gometrin, because when a woman delivers, if her blood pressure is normal, we give her a gometrin injection, 0.5 milligram IV, before we start delivering the placenta as the womb contracts. So a place that is delivering women without intravenous oxytocin or intravenous parenteral gometrin is not safe. A story was told by a colleague of mine, a younger colleague of mine, who was called by a bed attendant to attend to a woman that she was delivering in her house. He came in there and saw the woman in a pool of blood. He demanded for oxytocin, there was none. He demanded for gometrin, there was none. He demanded for surgical gloves, there was none. He demanded for drip, there was none. The young man just ran out of the room before the woman breathed her last in his presence. But I told him that he shouldn't have done that. He should at least have rubbed up contraction. That would have helped to stop the bleeding. So a place that must deliver women should have anticonvulsants, that is, drugs that can stop fits, like diazepam or magnesium sulfate. I had a lot of women fitting away, and there is no diazepam in sight. There is no intravenous cannula in sight. There is no magnesium sulfate in sight, and no way to stop fits. And those women fit and fit until they die. But they say that that place is a place to deliver women. I wonder what they are doing. Now, there must be instruments for evacuation of retained products of conception in a place that takes delivery. And dilators, porcellum, seam speculum, cosco speculum, sponge holding forceps, ovum forceps, Kama syringe, and cannulas, curettes must all be available to evacuate retained products, because a lot of women bleed to death when they have a miscarriage, and nothing to suck the products of conception away, nothing to stop the bleeding. That woman can die from excessive blood loss. Now, every center that is taking delivery must have capacity to remove placenta in case the placenta is retained. That means they must have a theater table with stirrups where a woman can be placed in a lithotomy position, the proper position to take. They must have at least ketamine, diazepam that can be used to sedate that woman and remove pain so that the placenta can be manually removed. And they must have capacity to remove placenta. I was told by a young lady that she delivered in a facility. After delivery, the placenta was retained. They did everything to deliver the placenta, no way. And they had to transfer her to a hospital. They went to the first hospital. It was as if the doctor was not available. The second one said, you must pay 100,000 before we remove the placenta. And you'll be wondering what the other people are doing. They said they have a center for taking delivery and they cannot remove placenta. It's unfortunate. So everyone that is taking delivery must have a capacity to do manual removal of placenta. In the absence of that, any woman that is that place, regarding that place as a place to deliver, is going to an unsafe place. So like I said, everyone that is pregnant, one of the ways to prepare for pregnancy is that you must go to a skilled birthplace and be attended to by healthcare professionals who are trained to handle pregnancy and delivery. In the absence of that, going to an unsafe place is the beginning of sorrows, because you may end up with an unsafe childbirth. That unsafe childbirth means baby is dead, or the woman herself is dead, or baby has challenges that severe illness, morbidity, or the woman herself end up with severe illness even if she didn't die. So the essence of what Safe Delivery Network is doing is to make sure that every woman on earth who is going to deliver will end up with safe delivery. That means baby and mother, or babies and mother, are alive and well. And so the people, the woman and her husband, must verify the capacity of where they are going in handling complications. It should not depend on the fact that the people who deliver women. Delivering women is not a skill just to deliver women. Anybody can deliver a woman. In fact, I tell most people that if you spend 1 or 2 weeks watching how women are delivered, you can deliver a woman. There is no big deal about it. But the challenge in delivery is when complications arise. When bleeding comes, what do? Do you know what to do? When do you know how to check blood pressure? When the blood pressure goes high, do you know what to do? When infection arises, do you know what to do? Can you even diagnose infection? Can you diagnose obstructed labor? Can you preempt obstructed labor? Can you stop, do something about obstructed labor? Do you know how to do cesarean section? Do you know how to do a manual vacuum aspiration? Do you know how to do manual removal of placenta? Do you know how to deliver using the vacuum extractor? These are the things, these are the skills everyone that delivers a woman should have. And every woman and a husband and spouse or mentors or friends, everyone who loves a pregnant woman, who wants the best for her, should verify the skill of whoever is taking care of the woman and the capacity of the center to take care of complications, because no woman dies except by the means of complications. So that center that must deliver a woman must have a vacuum extractor or ventus, or what we call obstetric forceps, with which to assist vaginal birth. For some women, babies are the vulva, babies are introduced, they don't have the energy to push, they are exhausted, or they are uncooperative, they close their legs, they squeeze their waist and all that. Do everything to prevent the baby from coming. And sometimes what can help them is an assisted vaginal birth using vacuum extractor. So everyone that is taking delivery must, as of necessity, know how to use a vacuum extractor. So one way to prepare for safe delivery is to have the capacity to help women that have challenges during childbirth. And everyone that is taking delivery must know those challenges and must be able to rise up to those challenges. Otherwise, we have no business to take deliveries. We become a killing squad for women and their children. So in order to avoid it, you must go for safe delivery. You must go to a compassionate, comprehensive emergency obstetric care facility. One of those things I've mentioned is the signal of medical function, which I mentioned right now. In our next edition, we will talk about the other functions. Who are the skilled birth attendants? What are the enabling environments that a woman should find herself to have a safe delivery? When we know all that, we'll be able to make the right choices. And thank you for listening to this program, watching this program. I want you to subscribe to our Safe Delivery Network on YouTube. Click the notification bell. Follow and like us. Like and follow us on Facebook, Safe Delivery Network, our Facebook page, our Twitter page, Instagram, and Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Lord bless you and give you wisdom to make the right choices in this pregnancy and your delivery.